Hello, everyone. It is me, Osset, here at the Goddess Inside. And once again, I am joined by my dear friend. I always forget, is it Reverend Doctor or Dr. Reverend?
It's Normandi Ellis.
My dear friend, Normandi Ellis. Hi, Normandi.
Hi, sweetie. It's good to be with you again.
It's good to be with you too. Good to be with you too. So, last video, we shared a little bit about one of the spiritual bodies that the ancient Egyptians worked with, which was the Khat. So, be sure that you check out the previous video on that. And this time, we're going to be talking about the KHAIBIT. And the KHAIBIT is one of the 9 spiritual bodies. And we see it mentioned in the ancient texts as well. So, do you want to show us the card that has the hieroglyph of the KHAIBIT, Normandy?
There you go. There's the
Yes.
hieroglyph of the KHAIBIT. Here's one. Oh, wait a second. Well, I'm not going to show you now. Yeah, this is it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So the KHAIBIT is our shadow side, right? And
KHAIBIT's our
so,
shadow.
and you have a card there to show as well. So I'm going to let you go ahead and share a little bit about what you have on the KHAIBIT with us.
Okay. So the KHAIBIT is what we think of as the shadow side, or this guy, the devil, when you're looking at the tarot card. Now, this guy is the dark lord, whereas Ra, in the Egyptian tradition, is the god of the light, or Yahweh is the god of the light. You cannot have a shadow unless you have light. That's how you see the shadow. You bring consciousness to it. And so otherwise, the shadow is just the darkness that is the unconscious. Once you are beginning to bring shadow issues to consciousness, or once you're bringing KHAIBIT to consciousness, you are incorporating a transformational quality. The more light you bring to it, the more the shadow will dissipate in the end. Now, Ra himself was supposed to have 72 shadows, which I thought was pretty interesting. Just like we have our shadows that we have to name, Ra had shadows and his shadows had name. And there were very interesting names. Now, there's pictures of them in the Thutmose the Third's tomb, the one that's way up at the top. I think we went there, didn't we? On one of our trips. You can come with us, by the way, on one of our trips and see these shadows of Ra. And one of them's name, I really like this guy. It's a picture of a body, and then it's got this head floating up above it, and that's Ra's shadow. And it's called He Whose Head is on Too High. And I think that's a great name for a person's shadow. Some of us have seen people like that uh, in government positions, let's just say, and some of us have been that. There are other ones, like where there's one whose head is on his shoulders, but he's facing one way and his head's facing the other way, and it's called He Whose Head is on Backwards. And that is a shadow that has to do with the type of personality that ends up getting stuck and thinking about the past all the time, like, oh, if only I had said this when he said that. That's a He Whose Head is on Backwards. Or I used to be able to do this, but I can't do it anymore, so it's not ever going to get any better. That's another He Whose Head is on Backwards. And so it's just really not being fully in the present, the way Eckhart Tolle would insist that we be here now, Ram Dass said. So that's being in the sunshine, that's being in the light, and the shadow is, being somewhere else. And so the KHAIBIT is psychologically part of our unconscious, but it is an actual body that traverses through the astral world. and it carries thoughts and negative projections, and it carries our worries and things like that. And so those shadows then appear to us in the dream time, and sometimes create realities. They are, because they are spiritual bodies, they create realities that we do not intend. You have anything you want to add to that, Osset? That's a lot.
Yeah, I have a little bit. Yeah, so when you talk about them being an actual body, it just made me think about, well, in your book, you do mention in Hieroglyphic Words of Power in this section, what the in the Book of the Dead, where the people, who passed away, it was important for them to make sure that their KHAIBIT also, kind of moved on, because this is, like you said, a part of us that can get stuck in places. And when we were kind of talking before, I talked about it conceptually as, our own inner negative Nancy, the inner part of us that's always kind of hanging around and bringing us down and telling us, you can't do this because you're too short for that, you're too tall for that, you're not good enough for that. We're always kind of coming up against our shadow. It gets kind of stuck in places. And when people in ancient Egypt passed, they said, let not my soul be shut up, let my shadow not be bound. Open the pathway for my soul and shadow, that they may see the great God. So, even the ancients understood that it was important for all of their spiritual bodies to just move forward as they should, and not to get stuck in the past. And we also talked about, as we were getting ready, another story from the ancient texts in which the KHAIBIT is showing up. And it was the story of Kamwast, wanting to go and find the book of magic and the book of wisdom. And he heard that it was in a certain tomb. And so he went there, and it was the KHAIBIT of the man and his wife that said, please don't take this book or terrible things will happen. So it's something that the ancients were well aware of, and that I think is good for us to be well aware of today, so that we can make sure that we're always showing our inner KHAIBIT, our inner negativity, the light. Yes, but, yes, I'm short, but, yes, I'm tall, but I'm not too tall, I'm not too short. Yes, I might not know everything, but I know these things. So I think that that's a great way to kind of pull in the lessons and the practicality of the lessons and message of the KHAIBIT into today.
And one thing I just want to go back to is that sometimes that shadow is there to protect us, like that shadow that says to Kamwas, don't take this book, you'll be sorry. It's his shadow speaking to the unconscious shadow of Kamwas, that, or the desire nature, where he's saying, oh, if I only had this book, I could do blah, 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 and he's not being here now. If he was here now, he wouldn't be needing that book. Right. So
Right.
he's stuck in his own KHAIBIT nature, and it takes the shadow or the ghost of some, and that's another word for KHAIBIT, would be ghost, attachment to material reality, that has to tell him, don't do that. That's not good.
Right.
So
Right.
don't be chained by your desires, the KHAIBIT tells you.
Yeah. So there you go. That's one of the spiritual bodies, the KHAIBIT, that we're sharing some messages and information for you this month. So again, the cards that Normandy is holding up, those are our Oracle of Sachet, and you can order that on our websites, as well as the book that goes along with it that has extra information, ways to use the cards, different layouts, and ways to look at them. So be sure that you visit all of the links below. Also, Normandy, as you can see, she's a wonderful teacher. I teach as well. We both have classes that we're doing online. So be sure to check out the links for our websites below. And if you want to go to Egypt, with us, we are traveling there as well, and we would love to have you join us. So check out our tour dates and all the information again at the links below. Thank
Okay,
you, Normandy, for being here.
thank you, all set, and we will see you soon.
Yes, see you soon. So until next time, as always, be sure that you enjoy everything about today.